Yo! This is the first devlog of Pests. A game I have been working on for some time. The main idea is that in a house infested by different types of pests, you are a pest trying to help your own kingdom to thrive. Let's start by making models for the first kingdom of pests, the rats. And with that, we have the basis for every individual of this species. This method of using a pixelated texture and stretching the UV islands to achieve a gradient is very useful for the toony look I'm aiming for. It's not as good as hand-painted textures, but I'm not an artist, so that will have to do. In the game, you will be able to add members from your kingdom to your party of pests, and each of these little guys has their own innate stats. Some are tankier than others, while some are faster. To represent this, I'll add armor pieces to them so that the player can know what an NPC is good at just by looking at them. Let's make some armor then. Since the themes of the game are pests, scarcity and waste, this should be reflected in the armor design. So the armor here is made out of bottle caps, popsicle sticks and pieces of cloth. Here's a heavy armor set. And a medium one. And a light one. To add some sense of individuality to each pest, I'll add some extra cosmetic pieces to them. Things like different hairstyles, earrings and slight clothing variations. Here's the extra props. They are not that different from the base model on their own, but by having only some of them active, you can achieve a lot of variations just by having small differences piled together. With just 3 different hairstyles and 3 different pieces of clothing, you can have up to 9 different combinations. And you can increase this amount of variation by adding more props, shape keys, and by changing their textures procedurally, which I intend to do later in Unity. Before moving them to Unity, I'll add some simple animations. A walking and a running cycle, some jumping, and idle animations. Here's some of the animations. More of them will be added later for combat, emoting, item interaction and so on. I also added 2 shape keys. One for shorter noses and one for damaged ears. In Unity, Instead of using the original colored texture for the NPC materials, I am going to use this one. This texture has the same structure as the one I used in Blender, but the main colors are set to white. By doing so, I can change them through code so that each pest has a different hue, luminosity or saturation from their base colors. I will also use this image, which is a list with all of the colors I'll use in the game. Each color will be used for different purposes, like the colors of pests, the colors of the house they are infesting, the colors of the real owners of the house, and more. In the code side of things, I'll create a class that controls each entity's graphics. I'll make a copy of their base textures and replace the white spaces with colors from the main color list. Using material property blocks, I can change the main texture of each material instance while the game is running without having to create a dozen different materials, as I was inclined to do in the start of this project. Silly me. A lot of random generated numbers will be used for controlling their shape keys and local scales, and a random enum will be used to switch between their armor models. Any model that is not going to be used will be deactivated. And putting all that together, we have this result. The last things to do are adding a character controller and a third-person camera and test how everything is going. Of course, these little guys will need a map to explore. But this is a job for the next video. If you like how the project is going, stay tuned for the next episode. Or don't. It's your life, you do you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you when I see you.